Hi dear students, this is BS Academy. We are going to discuss about the grade 12 Cbse physics syllabus. First we are going to start the chapter 1. In this chapter 1, one of the most important topic for your board exam is Coulomb's law. Okay, come let us see what is Coulomb's law. See, first consider the two charges Q1 and Q2. These two charges are kept at a particular distance, and this charge, consider this as a positive charge and this as the negative charge. So we already know that positive charges and negative charge are kept closer. What will happen? The force of attraction will take place, right? So if you consider this as a positive and this as also a positive charge, then force of repulsion will take place, right? So whatever may be the type of the force, but some amount of force will be present between the two charges Q1 and Q2. So that amount of force present between the two charges will depend on some factors. So let us see what are they. So this force which is present between these two charges is represented as F, and it is found to be directly proportional to the product of the two charges, that is Q1 and Q2. So we can write F is proportional to Q1 and Q1 Q2. And also it is found to be, this force is found to be proportional to 1 by r square, where r is the distance between the two charges. So the force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to the product of charges Q1 and Q2, and the force of attraction or repulsion is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two charges. And you have to understand, students, right? Now this, we can combine these two equations, so we can write like this: F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by r square. So in the next step, what we have to do, we have to remove the proportionality symbol, so that you have to introduce one constant. So that constant is k. So the equation will become F is equals to k into Q1 Q2 by r square. Now what is k? Where k is constant of proportionality, where k is called as what? Constant of proportionality. Where k is constant of proportionality, and this k is equal, so this constant value is found to be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, where epsilon naught is called as permittivity of free space. Epsilon naught is called as permittivity of free space. So we can substitute this k value in this equation, so that the equation of force will become F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r square, where we can write, where epsilon naught is called as permittivity of free space. Epsilon naught is called as permittivity of free space. Okay. Then there is a constant value for epsilon naught. So that value epsilon naught is equals to 8.854 into 10 power minus 12. Okay. Now we can find out the unit of epsilon naught from the equation of Coulomb's law, that is F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r square. So we can, if you want to find out the unit of epsilon naught, you can take this epsilon naught to this side, so you can get one equation for epsilon naught. So 1 by 4 pi f Q1 Q2 by r square. where 1 by 4 pi is the constant value. So substitute the SI units for these quantities. SI unit of the charge is coulomb, and Q2 the same coulomb, and force, what is the SI unit of force? Newton, and SI unit of distance R is meter square. Okay, so this will becomes coulomb square, Newton inverse, and meter power minus 2. So therefore, what is the unit of epsilon naught? The unit of epsilon naught is coulomb square, Newton power minus 1, meter power minus 2. So you can write this unit here. So the value of epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 power minus 12 coulomb square, Newton power minus 1, meter power minus 2. Can you able to understand, students? Right. So what is the final value of Coulomb's law now? F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. If you are denoting this value or equation in terms of vector, then you can introduce the vector symbol for force, because force is a vector quantity, right? So F vector is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square into R cap. While you are writing this equation in vector quantity, then you have to introduce this force as vector symbol by using the vector symbol, and also you have to introduce R cap. Okay, R cap, where R cap is called as what? Unit vector, where R cap is nothing but unit vector. Can you understand, students? Now we have discussed about the Coulomb's law. Once again I will revise this topic. So Coulomb's law, we can state the Coulomb's law now here. From the equations we can state the Coulomb's law. So Coulomb's law, first point is the force of attraction. Force of attraction, either this force may be of attractive force or repulsive force. Okay, so force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to the product of charges. And the second point is force of attraction or repulsion is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the charges. Square of the distance between the charges. So this will be the statement of Coulomb's law, right? So if this question is asked under the 3-mark question or 2-mark question, then you can write first, you can draw the diagram, and then you can write the statement, and you can derive this equation as follows. So F is proportional to Q1 Q2, and again F is proportional to 1 by R square. So combining these two equations, we can write F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. So here in this step we are removing the proportionality symbol, and then we are introducing one constant K. So therefore the equation becomes F is equals to K into Q1 Q2 by R square, where K is the constant of proportionality, and the value of constant also it was also found, that is K is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So that substituting the K value in this equation, the equation becomes F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square, where epsilon naught is called as permittivity of the free space. The value of epsilon naught, constant value of epsilon naught, is given by epsilon naught is equals to 8.854 into 10 power minus 12 Coulomb square Newton per minus 1 meter per minus 2. Then from this equation, from the Coulomb's law equation, we can able to find out the or derive the unit of SI unit of epsilon naught. So from this equation, find the equation for epsilon naught. So that is equals to 1 by 4 pi f q1 q2 by r square. So since 1 by 4 pi is constant, then we cannot we no need to consider this while we are deriving the SI unit. So substitute the SI units of the remaining quantities, that is Coulomb for charges and Newton for force, meter square for r square. So the equation, the unit will be Coulomb square Newton per minus 1 meter per minus 2. So therefore the final equation of Coulomb's law is F vector is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square into r cap, where r cap is unit vector, where r cap is called as unit vector. Is it clear, students? Thank you. We'll meet in the next class.